So this weekend I would like to get all the cold weather crops in. Normally, not normally, but some years I can put the cold weather crops in late February, and it's already pushing late March, so I feel like we're a little bit behind. The extended forecast is still nice and cool, so we should be good to get a good head start on these guys before it gets hot. Some years it can switch from winter to summer like that, and that's not really great for the cold weather crops. So the earlier we can get them in the ground, the better. And sorry about the bird noise. The red-winged blackbirds are back in town. They hang out here till about nesting time, and then they take off to the cattails where they go and set up their nest, or the tall grasses. But I would just want to show you how I'm going to prep this bed using compost from last year. You can sift your compost prior to putting into the garden. I dig the soil directly from the bottom of the compost bin and then just sift directly in the garden. Nice. This is how we start to get in shape every year. Working, tending the land. Let not a whole lot go to waste in the gardening world. We built these beds for my mom. Because she's in her 80s and still loves to garden, but a little hard to get up and down off the ground. But she only wants a couple beds, so she takes the ones on the other side. And she gave me these to work on. Grateful, because I like to grow a lot of crops. I need double the space of what I have, but I'll take what I can get at the same time. Loosening the soil here will make it really easy for the carrot roots to grow down and not have a whole lot to push around and get all deformed. If you've gardened, you've had your weird deformed carrots looking every shape under the sun. Nice, huh? Nice dark soil. I'd be happy to grow here. Now we're going to plant some carrots. So we're going to turn this bed into the pepper and carrot bed. And again, I'll leave the sides of the beds open for flowers. Keep everything beautiful, and also some types of flowers are great for pest protection or for drawing in beneficial insects. So I like to have a variety in the garden and not just have a monoculture. So I'm thinking, since I'll have taller flowers here, I'll do the first row of carrots. Then I'll leave a decent sized space for the peppers, and then another row of carrots, peppers, so on and so forth. And maybe I'll just use some rocks to lay that out so I get that even across the board. And I'm using Bolera carrots from Johnny Seeds. Really like Johnny Seeds, quality seeds, and they have a lot of information on the back, help you out. And if you're new to gardening, don't get too precious about, the exact depth. Everything's going to be okay if you go a little deep, a little shallow. I find most things do quite all right if you're not exact. So let's start. think that'll work. Okay, so carrots want to be around a 1/2 inch deep. So I'm just gonna 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep. And I find that towards the end of the bed, I always don't have as much success. So just do something like that. These are pelletized seeds, so instead of having to pick through individual seeds, it makes it a lot easier for planting. You can see where they are, obviously, and they don't last as long though. You'll get a good germination on the first year. After that, it starts to drop off a lot quicker than with just normal seeds. And you want to keep, carrots need to stay moist. If you let the soil dry out, your germination's not going to be very good. So moisture, moisture, moisture for carrots. And I'll show you some ways that you can assist in maintaining moisture. But one of the things that's just great to do is get them out in spring when it's naturally cooler and damp and the soil's not going to dry out quite as quickly. So let's get started. I'm going to do them about a 1/2 inch apart, and then you thin them to about 2 inches apart later on if you want nice big tubers. Okay, here we go. Carrots are so fun to grow, and what's great about them is you can keep them in the ground really for quite a long time, and they'll stay well right into the early winter until you get really cold temperatures. So you can just store them right in the ground as long as you can dig the soil and get them out. All right, first row in. The pelletized seeds makes it really easy to space them. Less thinning to do later, which isn't really a problem. So now I'm just gonna cover them up. Then I'm gonna tamp that row down. And I'm gonna leave these rocks in place so that I know exactly where they're planted. And next row. I'm making it a point to really try to give plants space this year, because my tendency is to let everything grow and want to just keep growing more and more and more, and then things don't do as well. I forgot to mention that Bolera carrots have performed the best for me. I've tried all different types, and these have just performed the best. Not saying you'll have the same type of results, but just making a note of it. I'm gonna get the whole bed wet just to help keep the carrots moist. I'm gonna water them in again, but I wanted to talk about that trick I talked about earlier to help keeping your carrots moist. If you saw last week's video where John and I repaired the fence, I have this pieces of board that'll work perfectly. So what you want to do is lay a board over your carrot seeds, and that will greatly enhance the soil retention, so you won't have to water constantly. And I've had a lot of success using this method as well. And I think what I'll do is I'll do two rows with the wood and then 2 rows without, and then we can do a comparison and look at how well they did. So I'm going to cut these to size, and then we will install them, and I'll show you how to do that. Perfect way to reuse materials that would normally be thrown away. So just like that. And when you do this method, you want to, carrots take about 1 week to 3 weeks to germinate. So you'll want to start checking after 1 week and just take a peek every day or every 2 days. And once you start seeing the seedlings emerge, sorry, I won't start sawing until I'm done talking. Once you start seeing the seedlings emerge, you remove the wood. And then carrots they still like to be moist. It helps them form up nice big roots. And there you go. Another bed successfully planted. But I'm going to get some cloth to cover these beds now, because I already saw a bunch of squirrel footprints in them, and I don't want them digging anything up. I'll be right back. I just have these cloth garden covers, row covers, and they do keep the soil warmer, and these are cold weather crops. So on a really hot day, I might remove these because I don't want the plants to overheat. But like I said, I don't want the rodents making a mess on my newly planted beautiful bed. So I'll just go like this, and then I'll just get some rocks or some type of material to hold it down in the corners, and that should be plenty for these plants. Space for flowers on the edges here. I don't have to worry about smushing the plants. And this stuff is great. You can use it over and over again, year after year. Stands up really well after many seasons. So here's what it looks like. A whole lot of nothing, but hopefully soon we'll see green shoots popping up everywhere. Where did I put my pen? Are you on my pen, dude? Are you on my pen? Are you on my pen? Ooh, I think you're on my pen. I need you to get off my pen. Are you on my pen? Are you on my pen? Ooh, are you on my pen? Are you on my marker? Are you on my marker? Huh? Helping me get the soil off my hands? Where is my marker? Oh, I feel like you're on my marker now. Let me look. Let me look. There's a tag. There it is. Yay! Okay, tag. All right. Gardening soothes my soul. There's the cleanup, which provides space, a blank slate, a clean canvas. Then the planting, a vision. How will things unfold into the future? With hope and care. And it always changes. Nothing is permanent. There's life lessons here. The Buddha said everything that has a beginning has an ending. Make your peace with that and all will be well. I take immense pleasure in the spring garden, but equally, I bask in the end of the season come fall. If you've been around the channel, you know that I love being outside. Gardening helps me be outside all day, amongst the bird song and the other sights and sounds and smells of nature. My body gets strong from moving in every which direction. If it's spring where you are, enjoy the new beginning. Start fresh with your vision and have a good one.